Once again, highly personal. Number 1, do not overdescribe her appearance. This means do not use more than 2 adjectives in a row, one if you can help it. Long, dark, silky hair stinks worse than blood simple. Long, dark hair is better. Long hair, even better. Don't change adjectives. If her eyes are blue, then fine, call them blue. Don't suddenly start calling them azure on the next page and then cerulean again. If they're green, do not call them emerald. If they're purple, must you? Don't shift between lavender, purple, and violet. Unless your story is meant as a parody or unless the whole thing is written in a very high and poetic style, don't use words like this. Using a high poetic style for the heroine's beauty alone is a dead giveaway that this heroine will suck. Number 2, don't describe her appearance all at once like this. Farina Escalandria sighed as she looked into the mirror. She sometimes wished she hadn't been born with blue eyes that looked like the sky after a storm, or long, silky golden hair that gleamed as it fell in soft waves to her shoulders. She supposed that her sapphire dress that hugged her in all the right places complemented her beauty, but it made all the men pursue her, and that depressed her. I cannot believe I just wrote that. Goes to wash hands. Slip in bits of description in various places, if you really must. Mention her hair on one page and her eyes 20 pages later only in passing. Also consider, does it really matter to your story if the readers know what the heroine looks like? If the story has any depth, your readers will come to love your character, not her looks. If it matters that your readers know your character is blonde, I'm trying to think of a situation where this could matter and only coming up with a need for disguise by hair dye or bastardy. But there could be other reasons. Then tell them. But do they really need to know just what she looks like? And do they need it kicked in their faces again and again with constant reminders that your heroine is green-eyed and blue-haired? If a reader asks if your heroine has blue eyes, you could always tell her in an author's note, so don't pollute the story with it. Number 3, do not describe your heroine's beauty by having her look in a mirror or pool of water. This has been done to death. The absolute best way to do it, if you must, is to have another character gazing on the heroine, a character who has reason to be given to flights of poetic fancy if your description tends in that direction. Number 4, give your heroine flaws. Yes, of course, the oldest advice in the book. But I probably mean something a little different by this than most people. I don't mean things like a quick temper or she's too compassionate, flaws that could be advantages in the right situation or worse, gag, could help in capturing the hero of her dreams. Try to think of some flaws that will not help her at all. Does she make a fuss about her clothes? Does she insult others when they don't deserve it? Does she pick her nose and eat it? You need not mention them obsessively, but you should come up with some things that make her human. Number 5, give her real problems. Give her more than frustrated love or parents who don't understand her. Those are common problems to a very, very small subset of people, amongst them teenage girls. If you're going to give her a romantic problem, try to make it more general than, I really like him, but my parents oppose him. If you're going to give her problems with her family, make it more general than abuse, 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 or my parents don't understand me. Wah! No one has a perfect family, but not everyone's an abuse victim or angsty teen of the month either. Consider importing some of the more common but less used problems, sibling rivalries, in which your heroine takes a part and is not just an innocent victim of, old family secrets that won't go away, words once spoken in the heat of anger that are still hanging around, and in general, small things that can drive your heroine nuts. Number 6, consider not giving her a dark and mysterious past any more than teenage angst. Isn't it possible that she's a simple village lass who really does know who her real parents are and feels they understand her? Peasants who find out that their royalty is my personal detested example of this cliche, but there are many others. Secrets are fun, but they can also make a story fall into extremely well-trodden paths. If you think you can handle it, come up with an unusual secret or handle it in an unusual way. For example, perhaps your heroine thinks that her magic comes to her because her father is not her real father, but then it's actually her sister who was the product of an adulterous liaison. Number 7, consider having your heroine not cause strong reactions in everyone she meets. Heroines who suck tend to inspire either instant love and devotion or gnawing hatred for no obvious reason. Where are the people who are indifferent, amused, or contemptuous? Often not in evidence. Include characters who don't have much to do with your heroine or are so busy they aren't involved in her life. Don't make a world for your heroine, make your heroine part of the world. Number 8. Reconsider making her witty with a comeback to everyone. Spunky heroines are only fun if done exactly right and made human as well. Test the dialogue on your friends and readers. Do they laugh out loud? If you're writing a funny, witty story, that should be the direction you're going. If your heroine only sounds like a smartass, rewrite. Number 9. Make your heroine uncertain at times. She should not make snap decisions about everything, and she should not make decisions that always turn out to be correct. Have her confront a few characters more powerful, beautiful, intelligent than she is, and see what happens. Number 10. Make her lose some things. Say you've got a Harry Potter original female character who really wants to help her house win the big Quidditch final game. I personally would probably not read this story because I know where it's going. Her team wins, probably because of Mary Sue. Hey, that could be Miss Sucky as well as Mary Sue. And there's vicarious satisfaction for the author and vicarious disgust for me. Consider having her lose. Consider not ending the story with some platitude about how her house is the real winner. Consider some real loss, disappointment, and compromise. If you're into 18th century literature or long novels, though those two are almost simultaneous, try reading Cecilia by Fanny Burney for an excellent example of a heroine who, though close to the perfect stereotype in some ways, does not have everything work out for her and has to face real problems. Number 11. Have your heroine really interact with other characters. One thing that makes me hit the back button, unless I'm Sue hunting, of course, very quickly, is the scene where the heroine explains her sucky past with many tears while everyone stands around and says, "Aw," at appropriate moments. Other sucky heroines don't do this aloud, but instead have angsty internal monologues about their powerful magic, dead mothers, and dead pets. Many heroines seem self-contained. Everything relates to them, usually at the author's will. It's of a piece with the idea that there are no characters who react with indifference to Miss Sucky or have their own lives. They all become pale shadows of her. Give your heroine some conversations, some give and take, where they don't all turn into whirling tornadoes revolving around her, and where she actually learns things about the other characters as well as imparts whatever urgent information she has to give. Number 12. Do not identify too closely with your heroine. Remember that criticism of your character is not criticism of you. It's highly likely that the person criticizing your character does not even know your depth of identification with Miss Sucky, unless you tend to leave long, rambly author notes on your story expanding about how much this character means to you. If you can answer the objection, answer it, but don't whine and cry about how your heroine is really your baby. This is getting to sound familiar, isn't it? And number 13. Consider having your heroine fail in a romantic relationship or not be involved in one at all. Among the greatest cliches of all, and they show up even outside of romance fiction, are love triangles. Heroines with dead lovers who are afraid to love again, and love at first sight. Write realistic relationships where the man or woman involved doesn't become a shadow of Miss Sucky. Make them real human characters and have them interact. Shielding taken down now. The Author Atlas project aims to bring all 424 of Limyaael's fantasy rants to audio format. If you enjoyed this video or would like to support this effort, please like and subscribe. This has been your narrator, James.